Final Fantasy has some pretty horrific dungeons throughout the franchise. Places such as the Great Crystal from Final Fantasy XII, the worst offender in my opinion. Now, thankfully, Final Fantasy VII doesn't have a stinker like that. But growing up, my bane playing this game was always the Great Glacier. Now, for years, I never actually looted Alexander because it just confused me so much. You had to touch the hot springs, then you had to enter the area with the cave from a certain direction. All the while you were, fighting against passing out in the cold. It was just a bit of a nightmare. But actually, when you know what you're doing, it's really not that bad. And this is a great time to stock up on elixirs because we don't yet have the W item materia to use that glitch. But there is another bug here not everybody knows about that allows you to get a full stock of 99 of this powerful healing item with very little effort. So today I'm going to show you the ultimate guide of traversing the Great Glacier, collecting all of the loot that it has to offer, and maxing out your elixir supply. So come along for the ride and let's get stuck in. In order to get to the Great Glacier, you have to complete the snowboarding minigame. Now, when you first do this, it may seem like a bit of a pain, but actually, this iteration of the snowboarding course is completely meaningless, and it's just about getting from the top of the slope to the bottom of the slope. And as you do so, you will come across 2 junctions throughout the course, so you can go left then right, left left, left right, or right right, and those 4 options will each take you to a different starting point within the Great Glacier itself. So if you're watching this guide before doing snowboarding, I recommend choosing the left left option, so left twice, and that's because not only does it make the course the easiest form, but it puts you straight into the forest that we're going to be starting at today. Okay, so if you take the left approach when it comes to snowboarding, then this is where you'll land in this forest area. If you didn't go left, if you took another route, don't worry, we are going to be starting here in the forest, but I'll show you how to get here before we do so. Okay, so if you took a left followed by a right, you'll be at the entrance to the Great Glacier at the ice gate. Just start by heading up north, okay, to the top exit. And we'll cross the intermediary path, and that will bring us to the starting area that we're going to be beginning the guide from. And if you went right twice, you'll start here. So just again, head up north. We're going to cross the intermediary path, and that will bring you to this area, and just follow it all the way around to the bottom left, and then you'll be back in the forest for starting the guide. And finally, if you went right followed by left, then you'll be landing here with the pine tree. In order to get to where we're starting the guide, start by heading south from that area. And then from here, we can just go ahead and exit at the bottom part of the screen towards the left. And now, woo-ha, we're ready to start the guide from all at the same location here in the forest. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is grab the mine source, which is just towards the north of the screen here, and then we're going to head over to the right hand side to exit. Now, every time we are crossing an area in this Great Glacier zone, we're going to be traversing an intermediary path. So I'm going to cut these out for the sake of time, but just cross these paths to the other side in order to get into each area. So just to show you this time, very simple, just cross over to the other side from where we entered, and there we go. So in this next area, we're just going to grab the item from down here on the ice. It's just a potion. And then we're going to head over northwest, this is. And we're going to have a bit of a puzzle, which I'll be honest is a little annoying. But once you know what you're doing, it's actually not too bad at all. We're going to be traversing these icebergs, and you have to do it in a very specific path or you'll need to start again. So just follow the path that I'm going to show you. Starting from the first one just here. Okay, follow this exact path. One thing I do recommend is if you are using a controller, as I am, make sure that you go ahead and use the D-pad, okay? Do not use any joypads or anything like that. It's just gonna not work for you at all. But there we go, that's the path. Now, whether it's worth it or not, I'll leave it for you to decide. You do get the item up here, which is a safety bit. Not terrible, I will add. it does actually allow you to protect one character against effects such as death, so it is worth getting for that small puzzle. So just once more, from this starting one here, just go the route that I go. Across twice, down once, across to the left, down again, across to the right, down again, and across to the left in order to exit. Okay. So back in the icefield zone, we're going to head over to the northeasterly exit, just up here. This will take you to an area with a pine tree. From here, just head over to the right. Okay, and that will now bring you over to this area here. And we're just going to head over to the right-hand side once more. Now, I'm not going to cut out this intermediary path because on the second part of it, just here, there's a materia you want to pick up. This is the added cut materia. You do not want to miss out on this, so make sure you grab this before heading to the exit. And here we're going to touch the hot springs. This is important in order to access the Alexander materia in this zone. You definitely don't want to miss out on this. So yeah, grab that, or touch that I should say, and then head over to the north in order to exit. Now we get to the snowy ice field, and this can be annoying. So the screen is going to turn, and that's going to confuse you, but you can place these poles down to help you keep your orientation. And you'll see the level, the ground itself is marked with lines. So we're going to head over to the east here, which is to the right. So I'm going to pop these poles down as we go, but you see the screen's turned, so we just want to follow the line that we're running against. That way we know we are keeping our bearings and still travelling east, even though it's hard to tell from the screen itself. Because I'm following the line and plonking these poles down, it's just keeping our orientation. Okay, so we're going to get the Alexander materia from this cave, but it's not something we simply loot. We will need to have a bit of a fight against the snow creature, so interact with this NPC for a touch of dialogue. Now, I recommend going into this fight with some fire damage and with the steel materia, and that's because this snow enemy, which by the way is also a random encounter that you can access throughout this zone, has the circlet item, and it is worth the steal in my opinion. Okay, there we have it, the circlet. Right, so the point of that then is to get the Alexander summon, which is dropped behind from the NPC. Alexander is a very nice summon, but a lot of people, I think, do skip out on it because of the complication of navigating this zone. So, you know, hopefully this video has helped you and made it a fairly painless experience. Right, we're going to run back to the icy snowfield next. Okay, and what we're doing now is looking around this area for a hut. So I'm going to start by heading north. Yep, there it is. It is actually within the centre of the zone, and inside the hut is the ore materia. Okay, back outside the hut, we're just going to start heading north, and this should take us to the base of Gaia's Cliff. So once more, it's just a case of following the line. You guys know the routine by now. It's a bit of a trek, this one, from the hut. Okay, there we go. And what I recommend is using this opportunity to save up and rest up. You can actually go ahead and proceed some of the story here, so you haven't got to do it later. In order to do that, just head through this door. And let's just go ahead and do that, shall we, very quickly. I'll cut it out, though. And just before we go and max out our elixir supply, if you are enjoying this video, if it's helpful to you, please do go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more FF Guide content coming your way. Right, so when you're ready, hopefully saved up and rested up, we're going to get the final item from the Great Glacier, which is the Elixir. I'm going to show you the trick how you can max this out to 99. Now, before you proceed, if you are following along with me with the FF7 voice mod, make sure you disable it temporarily as you do this, because this trick doesn't work with that mod. Not sure why, but it was fixed. The bug that allows you to get to 99 elixirs is fixed in that mod. So just disable it from 7th Heaven. You can enable it again once you get back to this save point and the trick's completed. Head south, back to the snowy field. This time we're going to head over to the west. So, usual routine, plonk your markers down. Okay, and we'll enter this next area. Oh, before we proceed, just pause the video a sec, see if you can see a secret structure hidden in this field map. Right here behind Cloud, there's a giant face structure. How awesome is that? Have you got any other Easter eggs like that you might want to share that you know about with this game? Yeah, drop them down in the comments below. I think that's pretty cool though. And in this area, we're going to head into the cave. Now, you're going to see the elixir, but be careful about looting it, otherwise you'll miss out on the trick. So once you access it, don't close the dialogue box. This is where the bug comes into play. You can run around with the dialogue box still open. If you tap the confirm button, you will close the box and the elixir will vanish. But go ahead and leave the area. And if I just show you right now, in terms of elixirs, we have 9. But when we go back in the cave, it's back again. And we can just repeat this once more. Loot it, don't close the dialogue box. Now we have 10. Pretty much you can do this to your heart's content to get as many elixirs as you want. Really powerful item, obviously. One thing you might want to do is turn on the turbo speed just to make this a little bit quicker. And eventually, I think it's after 144 steps, Cloud will pass out. But you can just then head back down to this area and once again repeat the process as many times as you wish. And there we go, I've passed out. So let's just have a look. I got to 31. Okay, so I got about 22, I think it was. So yeah, do that 4 or 5 times, that little routine. And yeah, you'll have a full stock of inventory of elixirs, so not too bad at all. And folks, there we have it. See, I told you the Great Glacier is probably not as bad as you remember once you know where you're going. So hopefully this video has helped you out. Don't forget to drop a like on the content if it has, and I'll catch you next time. Bye folks.